Welcome to Three Takes. I'm Ashana.
I'm Manali.
I'm Mona.
Three women.
Three generations.
One family, unpacking the questions we all ask. Ishana, are you alive right now? Because you just got off a plane. You've been traveling so much. I can't even keep up with where you are in the world.
No, I feel so gross. I actually haven't showered since I got back from the airport. Glasses on, no contacts. Woke up at 5 a.m. from my flight. So for context for the listeners, so I was traveling in Los Angeles for work this week and then had a trip to Nashville with my fiance and his sister and husband. So basically I haven't been back home in my apartment for over a week, and then boom, straight into recording this podcast.
Dedication.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But I think something I've noticed just as my travel has increased, not only for work but also for personal reasons, is how are we actually utilizing our time on these trips? Like, I feel like I have a group of friends that we have to document everywhere we go and every trip that we do. But then I also have other people in my circle who don't even pull out their phone the second vacation hits. And I think there is a lot of trend with traveling, and the way people document that is very different.
Traveling has increased so much now, but is the traveling becoming more about capturing the moment, taking the pictures, than actually living it or experiencing it?
That's a really good question for us to talk about today. And I think, this is part of a larger theme of the social media usage that we've talked about in a lot of other episodes, when it comes to friendships and relationships, and now this travel aspect as well.
Is it the convenience of the phone all the time? That's why I think the taking pictures has become so much in the traveling now. Because I remember when we used to travel, first of all, when I traveled with my parents, camera was a big thing. We hardly had pictures. We will go to the studio and stuff like that, right? If you're going for a vacation, you will go to the studio. And when you were growing up, I think our cameras were so big, to taking out all the time was so much of pain, right? So we took pictures, but not as many, and then you have to print it. But I think now, because I think it is so small in size, you can carry in hand, all the time you see is people are taking pictures with the phone.
That is a good point about convenience. I definitely think that's one of the reasons why people take so many pictures, right? It's really easy to pull out your phone and just capture something. But to add another layer to it, I think part of it is just so habitual in terms of how much we just pull out our phone to do anything. But in thinking about it, are we doing that for ourselves just to keep memories? Or is it really to show other people through social media? I think it's both.
I think that's the deeper question, is what we see online. It goes back to comparison culture, right? Of we get satisfaction when other people see that we're at things, right? And then there's also that sense of bonding of oh, you just went to Nashville. Oh, I was there a couple weeks ago. So you get that level of connectivity. But I also think there are certain things. I'm thinking of concerts I've been to, right? Is I sometimes have that mental battle of, should I pull out my phone right when the headliner starts, or should I actually just watch it with my own eyes? But then I also want to be able to rewatch that amazing moment where this artist came on. So it's a tough choice, I think.
This is really relevant because Ishana and I went to a Coldplay concert over the summer, and Chris Martin, he does this for every concert. When they play Sky Full of Stars, they ask that the audience just be completely present in the moment and not pull out their cameras or record or anything. And we got so annoyed because the lady in front of us the entire time had
whipped
her
her
phone.
camera. Yeah.
And it was just we were distracted by that than actually being able to be fully present with the song. I think that kind of encapsulates that perfectly.
Yeah,
totally.
And I think you're absolutely right. I think in traveling also, I remember there are so many times you are really at the moment and enjoying, but then somebody will come and ask you, can you take our picture? So even sometimes when you are not taking a picture, people come and ask, it's the constant that battle, when do you say no, and how many pictures yourself you take? And, it looks like that we want to capture every single moment.
I think the other thing too, and this is a question for everyone, is what are you doing with all these pictures? I think it's less about taking the photo and are you taking it every single minute and taking 10,000 photos and then not doing with it? Like, I feel like Papa, our dad, sometimes is like always wanting to take photos, but then never shares it with us. So I'm like, what are we actually doing with these photos?
Yeah, he loves when in his Google Drive, he has a memory. And then you're absolutely right. I think that pictures in the traveling, I always wonder that people are really enjoying the moment. Are they really seeing what they had planned the vacation and the travel for?
I mean, just asking this as a group, how often do we actually look back at videos and pictures on our phone? I have over 14,000 videos and pictures on my phone. And on my to-do list, I've had this for a while, is like clearing out all these pictures. Like I very rarely actually look back at vacation photos.
I mean, photos actually take up the most amount of storage on phones, right? Because we just keep going. But I think it's a very immediate thing, at least for myself, of even on my flight back this morning, I was looking at photos of the weekend. And actually, I was looking at a lot of photos that you had sent of the twins over the weekend because I'm excited to see them and stuff like that. But then it's like, I'm probably not going to look at these next month.
Yeah, so then coming back to our core question. So when you travel, how do you think, you are and the people around who you're going with, like, are they like fully present at the moment? Is it balanced, some pictures and some experience, or is just fully experience? What are everybody's thoughts on that?
I think it is a distraction from being fully present. I think it's much harder to be present because, again, it's that concept of attention fragmentation that we talked about earlier with Jonathan Haidt's book. Personally, it's very difficult to stay present because, like, first of all, when you're taking a video or a picture, you're looking at the screen while doing it, right? Because you want to make sure you have the right angle. You're not actually looking at the real thing. And then also when other people ask you to take pictures, that also prevents you, I think, from being fully present.
So what do you think that capturing that moment in the camera, like documenting it, does it take away from the experience or does it enhance the experience?
I think it takes away from the experience. And I'm saying that as someone who, I do take photos. Like, I'm not anti-photo on trips, but I think it takes away because to this point, it almost stops the moment because you have to pause, take this photo, and then get back into whatever you were doing, right? So even when I went on a run while I was in Nashville, like, I stopped and took photos because the trees looked nice and then had to get back into the run, right? Like, that's a very physical example of you are stopping what you are doing to have something on your phone.
But then also same time, the tree gave you something very fulfilling, like, the nature, the tree maybe, that you wanted to capture that moment. Is it that experience you feel when you saw the tree? Like, for me, when I see the bird sound, I feel really good. So I like to capture that sound in the video sometimes so that I could hear it.
I think that's a good point. One thing is to Roma, what you were saying earlier, because of the convenience, our phone doesn't just serve as our camera now. So when I whipped out my phone in the middle of the run, I also saw what time it was. I also saw the email notifications I had. I also saw the distance I was on in my run. So it wasn't just capturing the moment. And I think that is the crux of why my answer to this question is that when we take out our phones during traveling to take photos, it's actually taking away from the moment.
That's a very good point. Like, you think about it, because even when I take out my phone to take the picture, I think I look at the WhatsApp, then I will look at the text. So I think definitely it has a effect of doing multiple things then.
And, we're talking about so far what you all have talked about is capturing moments more for yourself and for core memories and being able to go back to it. But I'm not going to lie, like, I've also taken pictures with the intention of posting them and like having some kind of positive affirmation from other people.
Yeah, so that really raises a really good point. So nowadays the travel is becoming like that perfect trip kind of that pressure, Has social media changed that what a good trip or travel will look like? Like, do we want moments which looks picture worthy? Like, do we really post with something truly mean to us?
I think both. I keep going back to, I mean, I can speak very honestly about myself. Like, there have definitely been like trips. Like, for example, when I went on Japan, like, it's not a cheap vacation by any means. And
Yep.
who knows when I'm going to go back to Japan again. So, like, I was taking pictures to document for myself, but then I also wanted to share this experience, like, with my friends.
Can I ask a question of the?
Yeah.
You went to Japan with Rahul, right?
Yeah.
So were the two of you taking photos of the same things? Or did one of you take photos for certain things, one take the other? Because I think that could be a potential solution almost of like, does the whole family need to be taking the same photos?
That's a good point. Raul and I do have a shared Google Drive where we can see each
nice.
other's pictures. His camera quality is better. He has a Samsung. I have like an iPhone. But in general, when we take pictures of each other, we use his phone. But like when we're at different monuments or temples, I would just take pictures on my phone.
So I can tell that in my friend circles, I have seen that everybody takes out their camera. So then they give picture camera to everyone. Like, if you're traveling in a group, so there's a multiple pictures of the same thing. But I think we are also getting better when we are traveling in a group that let's have one camera, then post in the group. So I think people are also trying to do it, but yeah, there are a lot of pictures.
So the other reason why I end up doing it on my phone is it's an extra step to make sure that that person like shares the photo. And if they don't, like who has the bandwidth to remind them, right?
Yeah. I think one thing that I noticed actually my sister-in-law do on this trip that I was on is she's very big into Polaroids and disposable cameras, not only because it just creates that nostalgic vibe, but also because that disposable camera is just to capture photos. And you also actually have a limited amount of photos you can take because there's a set number of like film that you can use, which really actually like inspired me because honestly, like on certain vacations, especially when like everyone that I need is there, like I would rather leave my phone, honestly. And if I could just have my camera, I think that would be a good enough solution to balance the act of staying in the moment but still capturing it, because I don't want to go so far to say like I'm not going to take any photos on anything that I do, because that's just like not the world that we live in.
Ishan, I absolutely love this idea that having the disposable camera. Actually, we used to do that during our disposable camera. It was a big thing. I think that's such a great idea because you are still capturing the moment, but you're experiencing it also. And then you're printing it. Like, I think in the digital library, if you look there, Google Drive has so many pictures that it's even hard to look at those pictures and hard to find it. But I think when you have a limited, you have the value of it, and then you can even find easily things. I think I absolutely love that idea. I think I will do that.
I really like that idea. I'm just thinking back in terms of what's practical, because I remember Rahul and I went a couple of years ago to Prague and we went to Italy, like the Amalfi Coast. And I remember telling Rahul, I'm not going to check my emails at all. I am not going to take pictures on my phone. I'm just going to like respond to certain text messages that come through. There's no documentation or like posting of this trip. Like people had no idea we even went because I didn't post on Instagram or anything like that. Rahul took some pictures on his phone. But I remember like one of the morning excursions, like we were supposed to go on this boat and I wasn't checking my email, right? And so we showed up to this thing and we were supposed to be there at 8 a.m. It was like 8:15, 8:20. I was like, what's going on? And then I like pulled out the email from Book My Trip and they had said because of the wind conditions,
They canceled.
the thing is canceled. So I think
It's
everything that
hard.
we do is so integrated on apps, checking your phone, that it's really hard to disconnect completely on vacation. And I think this idea of using a disposable camera instead of like using the phone, I really like it because it does does divide that. But branching a little off topic, I think the idea of disconnecting completely from your phone is
It's
a much harder one.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree that because all the notification, the message delays, it comes on the phone. But I think for the topic what we are discussing today is like, is the traveler or do we really take capturing the moment or experiencing it? I think for that, I love the solution of the disposable camera.
I also did like the way you were saying though about how you and Raul like have a shared drive also, because when you also create that ahead of time, you can also maybe shift around roles on like I'll be the photographer for the day, and then the other person gets a break, and so then when you also are seeing the person who shouldn't be taking photos is on their phone, like it's because they're distracted or on something else. So I think when you're traveling in a bigger group, you can also almost have certain people play the photographer for a day or for certain shifts to break up the like intensity of constantly taking the photos.
I like that idea as well.
Yeah, I think this switching the roles. But have you like ever feel that you take the picture and then you hate that and then you retake the picture, or like you get upset if some family members posted this and said, oh my gosh, you're such a bad photographer. Why did you take that? Like, look at...
Because
like,
sometimes people post where they look amazing and then you look like turd.
We're speaking from personal experience here. No, like I do agree. And I think when you're traveling, right, there are people like we have done family photo shoots and portraits at vacation. And that's because like we wanted like family photos for ourselves. And that took like almost half a day to like do a photo shoot, right? And we had to do so many different iterations of like photos because someone's hair was windy or someone's like necklace was like tossed and turned. So like, yeah, I think when you are taking a photo, like I want it to be a good photo, but like I think where like I get irritated with like you guys as parents is like we're like on our way to brunch and we're stopping like every 5 minutes to take a photo, and I'm like hangry and like the reservation, like we're already like running late. And so like there's like I think there's also a generational difference on how like my generation can quickly just like take a photo and move on, and you guys like take a while to like unlock the screen, and then portrait mode versus like vertical and horizontal, like there is like a time gap.
No, so I think so there's a difference in generations. It calls patience, like because you guys grew up with taking the phone out, clicking. We at least can take good pictures and all that, right? You immediately snap and then it's gone. Like, you send it. So it requires the patience, right? So that's okay.
But wouldn't you say that, I mean, you have a lot of friends that travel a lot too, and I feel like they are huge photo people. Do you not think that they do it for like to show other people, or do you think they do it for themselves?
And they hardly post, but I think they just keep it. Yeah, not everybody. No, not all my friends post, but very few friends post.
But then I still feel like people all take the photos.
Yes.
So it goes
yes.
back to what is the point of taking the photos? Is it just for yourself then? Because then I don't think we need to be taking 10 of different poses. It's just
that
for
I agree.
yourself.
And it's definitely not for ourselves. And we can't actually even act like as if we only take photos just for us keeping memories, because we went on this one family trip. Do you remember? Shot it to Hawaii. And we went. Okay, so there's this like summit called like Haleakala, and like you're supposed to go on the sunrise, and it's like this beautiful view. But like the day that we went, it was really cloudy. And it was like we woke up at 4 a.m. to go to this summit, and we were like, this is so disappointing. So we ended up taking a picture of a picture in the gift shop
And telling people that we...
It was so pretty. Oh, yeah, I remember.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot about that.
silly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's like a
remember
family secret that we've like never
that's
told.
okay.
That
That's okay. We
we're
can laugh
telling our
about
loyal
it.
fans.
Yeah, I remember that in Hawaii we did that, and we took the picture of sunset. Oh my
That
gosh.
was also partially for ourselves because we were really irritated to wake up that early and then not see
No.
it.
So again, that's called the generation difference again. Like how you were telling me, we take long pictures. You were cribbing and complaining that why we have to get up at 3:45 a.m. to see this beautiful sunset, and then we were so scared of you because you're so disappointed. See, we went all the way and there. So we said, okay, let's go to the gift shop and take the picture of the sunrise, which was the photo was already there in the gift shop.
And we didn't actually buy the picture from the gift shop.
True.
No, I think there's definitely taking the pictures has its own beautiful moments, but I think how do you balance it?
I mean, to your point, like generationally, right? Like all I know, honestly, is immediate gratification of taking photos. But I vaguely remember, like when we were traveling to like Disney World and parks and stuff, like Papa had his like black bag with like the video camera that you would like
So big.
It was so bulky. You would like have to put one eye like through the lens and like move it around to capture it. So like, I like remember that was also like the older way of like taking photos and videos. Like, I don't think we were that attached to like constantly taking photos, right? Like,
Yes.
you have seen that change.
Yes, I definitely. And I think it just to, as Minali has mentioned, it's the convenience. Nowadays, the phone is not just your phone to call or it's like it can text, email, app, camera. It has everything, right? So you don't have to do it like carrying that bag. Like, we will carry and then we will argue who is going to carry that bag, right? Then we will put in kids' stroller and then taking out that video camera. And then for photo, there's a different camera. So that was a lot of effort. And it has its own fun, I think. That time then going to the, getting the pictures printed and creating that album. So that was a lot of fun. But I agree it was not overwhelming like how it is now that every time you're taking the pictures.
And I just don't have a good way of organizing them. Like, and that's the thing is, it's like I really want just like a very easy way to organize like all the photos rather than me having to manually create new albums every time and then like having to put photos in them. I don't know. I feel like AI should be able to help with this.
And I think that can be a topic for itself. How to even manage all those pictures. But coming back to our core question is that do you?
Oh, wow. Like really getting us to stay on top.
Really making a story.
Yeah,
Wow.
you got it. Now you're looking at the solution right in the podcast. Like, why? Is that do you guys remember your travel experience where you come back and you said, oh my gosh, I should have probably taken the last picture and be at the moment, or vice versa?
To be honest, no. Like, I just wish I could have my phone less. Like, it's more that than I think it's the photos itself.
I definitely like sometimes I really like to take pictures of food that we eat or like cool looking drinks that we eat. But half the time it's like the lighting is so dark, like you can't even like see anything. So a lot of times I'm just like, maybe I just kind of wasted time taking a picture of this, because other than just sharing the pictures of food and drinks with you guys, because we love food and drink, I just don't do anything with them. I don't even look back at them. So it's like, why was I disrupting like a dinner that I had with Rahul, whether it's on vacation or not, to take
And
it?
do you think that had you not taken photos of the food, like there would have been like an ongoing conversation that you and Rahul would have happened that didn't because you took out your phone to take the photo? What would have happened instead?
Well, it's just like the conversation flow gets disrupted, right? Because or it's like we don't eat it or drink it right away because we want to arrange it in a certain way that it looks good for the photo. And I think it would have just been, just more.
Yeah, it's like
Smooth
the saying
flowing
like phone
conversation.
eats first.
I
phone
think-
eats first. Phone eats first.
So usually I don't take too many pictures. Manoj takes a lot more pictures. So I never have to take out my phone. So I don't take pictures. So I try to do as much as possible in the
But
moment.
I find it interesting that we talked about this earlier is like I feel fine with the photos I take, but like the Coldplay concert, I get super irritated when I see a ton of other people only taking photos and not doing anything else. So it's definitely something that bothers me.
Yeah, I think it bothers me also in the traveling when I say people just taking all the time they want to do is to take the pictures, and so many from since morning to evening, and that definitely bothers
I mean,
me.
remember when we were traveling to Miami like a couple years ago and we did that workout class? Like we had seen people come to the workout class to just take photos and videos of
Yeah.
them doing the workout, but then
yeah.
they didn't even do it.
Yeah. I think it's just to post that. Yeah, I think it is like, I think it's becoming just a lot of times rather than the experience, just do the things for other people or, influencer also, right? So
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is very performative, right? You just
Yeah.
go to a location, like
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
videos
Yeah,
and then
nowadays-
call it a day.
when you travel, you will see that this is it will say that this is a Instagram like picture spot, like, kind of thing. So people promote that. But I think sometimes now when as we travel, I think there are many spots which are, to me, I likes more than what it says is the Instagram like picture spot, because I think the experience again, like I think I have found that.
Do you believe in this idea of taking a mental picture? Like, do you think that is satisfying enough?
So for me, like, I know we guys travel a lot. I can hardly remember the names of the city and places I go. So for me, remembering the mental picture is little challenging. But
But Ishan, I think you're coming to the idea or the concept of like savoring a moment. And how do you do that? And you obviously can't do that 30 times on vacation. But one strategy that I've started using, it's like a kind of meditation where you basically use your different senses to remember, right? So you like visualize, you pay attention to like 5 things that you can
Yep.
see, like 4
Yep.
things that you can hear, right? I'm forgetting what it's like 3 things you can
No, I like
feel,
that.
2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. And that's basically capturing a moment in your mind. I've done that a few times.
Mama, you had mentioned that there's something with like the sound of birds that you love, which actually, like, I was in Nashville and every morning I was waking up to the sound of birds, and for me it was very irritating. So it's good to know that you enjoy listening to the sound of birds. But I'm wondering, like, if there's a way of, does every time you hear a bird need to be recording of it, or can you remember the chirp
I
and
do.
remember the sun coming out, like, because
I
to the point,
do.
like, you like the feeling of the
Yeah.
birds chirping.
I was doing a reflection on that, and I was writing in my journal that why do I get so fascinated with that sunlight or the morning walks or the birds? Because growing up with our grandparents, I used to do that. And, that time there was a lot of course, now all the cities and all that, there is, the tree is not as much greenery, but the city where I grew up. But I think that sound reminds me of that, my early childhood, so I think I love it. I still have the memory of those when I used to walk with my grandparents. So now whenever I travel, I do try to relate that, oh my gosh, this sounds little familiar or this. And I think it just gives me a lot of that mental, that peace. So I do have that experience. And it's not like that when I travel, there are many memories, right? And I think those memories are precious memories. And I also realize with the friends, with the family, it's hard to travel and plan things as people's responsibility and the roles change. So definitely experiencing is very, very important. But I think capturing that, some moments, is also very important. My mom, because she cannot get up from the bed, she waits for those pictures to come that where I'm asking and going. So I think even if sending 2 pictures of when I was traveling, so I have already experienced it, but through those pictures, she also experienced through her daughter.
There's that saying of, oh, I'm living vicariously through you, right?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
we talk a lot about with social media and pictures, right? I mean, that even when you send us pictures with the babies or when you're traveling, right? It's like, oh, I feel like I'm almost with them, because now you can also do like live photos where it's like, it feels even more real than just a moment of time that you're capturing. So I think Apple on the iPhone is also smart and realizing like they're trying to make us feel more and more attached to our phones by making things feel more and more real.
And I think it's very subjective. Like, each person is different. The thing, Ishana, you just came from Nashville. The question was, are we really capturing taking the pictures, capturing that moment, or experiencing it? So for me, I think it has to be balanced. I think they both are important, but same shots taking 10 times and from a morning to evening in every single there taking pictures is a lot. So I think maybe if there is, for me, now when Manoj and I go or with a friend, like I know that I will take like 5 pictures in a day. So sometimes it's okay, you go a little bit over, but that's a kind of a baseline. And then rest of the time is experience for me.
I like that, like restricting the volume. I would also say restricting the time. I mean, you have to have self-discipline in these things. Again, like I feel like because our phone's so easy, a lot of this is just habitual and we're not even thinking about it. But like I remember Rahul and I were very intentional during our wedding that there were only certain periods of time that we wanted to take pictures with our guests. Like the guests could take pictures with each other whenever, but because Rahul and I really wanted to experience and be present at the wedding and the different events, we like said on our like invite card, you know, these are the times that we can take pictures with guests. So I mean, that's just thinking just in terms of like vacation or, you know, any place that you want to really live in the moment and enjoy. I think it does take a level of self-discipline to either like restrict yourself, whether that's number of photos or specific time periods that you're going to take pictures.
As we reflect on this conversation, do you guys have a photo that you remember taking from one of your trips that just like is something you do look back on often or just really brings back what you felt in that moment? I have one, if you guys are thinking.
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember when, like, our uncle who passed away a few years ago in India, like, I was very, very close with him. So every time we would go to India, I would always, like, play on his stomach, which sounds, like, really mean because he had, like, a really round stomach. But it was just, like, I was, like, in my pajamas, just, like, like, so in that moment. And so when I look at that picture, that very much, like, brings back, like, being in that moment.
Yeah, no, I remember that picture.
I'm thinking just honestly, the ones that stand out to me are like more simple moments. Like the one that's coming to mind is after Rahul and I's proposal, we drove in our friend's car from New York to Boston, and our friends actually took pictures of us, and like we were completely passed out, Rahul and I, but we were like on each other's shoulders. And I was like, oh, this is such a good memory. I mean, we didn't look flattering, but I was like, oh, this is good times.
And that, like, captures the moment, right? Like, you remember, like, what you probably hung over, maybe?
I probably, honestly, I don't remember. All right, takeaways?
For me, very easy. Disposable can.
Well, I think my takeaway is honestly just this conversation serves more of a reminder of trying to be more self-aware of, like, am I taking out my phone just to take out my phone or because this moment is actually worth taking a photo of? So I'm more self-aware of that now.
Yeah, and I think also just being mindful on if this is something that you really do want to just enjoy and savor the moment, then restricting like how many photos you take in a day or a specific time period that you're willing to take photos. And then I think even for myself, I want to be more aware of like me just pulling out my phone to take a photo habitually and like making it more of a mindful practice than just like a subconscious thing.
Thank you all so much for listening to our episode today. We'd love to get your thoughts on what you guys think in terms of capturing photos when you're on travel trips. Any tips you have for us to better live on the moment, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us on our Instagram at 3.takes, go to our website at 3takes.com, or send us an email at connect@3takes.com.
Thanks for joining us on 3 Takes. If something we shared sparked a new thought or opened up a conversation with someone you love, we want to hear about it. DM us on Instagram at 3.takes, email us at connect@3takes.com, or visit us at www.3takes.com. And if this episode meant something to you, share it with another mother, daughter, or sister in your life. It's how we grow and keep the stories moving.
I think we have a picture with my mom, dad, my brother, sister, and all that. We are traveling and in the car, and we're all sleeping, and then the drooling, like, the siblings.
Ew. That's the photo you remember? Like, you just, like, have spit coming out of your mouth?
Just like Aram and Naira, bubble. Okay, but I think you need to choose a different picture for adults just drooling.
With your parents?